Fall is my favorite season. Something about its coziness, it's the fuzzy socks, it's a good cup of tea, and for those who celebrate, it's pumpkin spice latte season. But it's also the perfect time to reset and bring healthy habits back into focus. And with Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for clean eating, you can do just that. Green Chef really makes it easy to spend less time in the kitchen and more time enjoying the season. With their new Heat and Eat meals, you can enjoy a delicious, wholesome meal in just 3 minutes. It's also perfect for supporting your wellness journey because Green Chef uses clean ingredients, fresh organic produce. It really helps you nurture yourself and your nutritional needs. I've used Screen Chef before and have found the meals to be both delicious and healthy. I chose the Mediterranean option and I was genuinely pleasantly surprised by how delicious and, importantly, convenient these meals were. Make this fall your healthiest yet with Green Chef. Head to greenchef.com/50BGB and use the code 50BGB to get 50% off your first month. Then 20% off for 2 months with free shipping. That's code 50BGB at greenchef.com/50BGB. Welcome to the Black Girl Burnout podcast. Kelley here, and today is going to be an episode where I do an honest check-in. I've been talking a lot and writing a lot on Substack about how to get through tough times. I think that's like the theme of life right now. And if you're like me, there's just life is lifing, and there's just things you need to do to just put one foot in front of the other. And this episode to me is that. It's an honest check-in. I am calling this episode unofficially the Getting My Life Together Toolkit, because if you're anything like me, I'm obsessed with these roundup videos of people who share their inspirations, their motivations, their morning routines, their exercise routines, whatever. If there's a plan that I can copy or there's some good ideas floating around, I want them. And I thought, well, Kelley, you could do this. You have a podcast. Why don't you do this yourself? And so I made a list. I am on camera today, so the struggle is real. Prayers up for me. But I have my list on my phone here, and I want to talk to you about how I'm getting through. And hopefully, this will be inspiration for you to make your own list, to think really consciously about what tools and things that you are doing, what habits, what products, whatever that is that's getting you through, what they are, and making it formal, like formalizing your toolkit. Because my life is not perfectly in order, but it's because of the small things that I do every day that it's definitely a lot more livable. And if you have joined us on this soft lock-in season where we are locking in, we are closing out the year with joy, with gratitude, with rest while getting our goals accomplished. These are a few of the things that I have been doing that have been helping me. So I'm going to give you a few of those things. It's going to be a mix of tools and tips and habits and mindset work that I do, but all so that it's relevant, hopefully, in your life. And you can share at the end of the episode. I really want to hear from you. What are you doing to softly lock in? What is your, I got to get my whole life together toolkit? I want to know what's in it. Share it with me. So, okay, let's get going. These are in no particular order. They're just things that I do that make a difference in my day, that make a difference in my life. And the first thing is I create structure around my life that is supportive and not depleting. This is really important. If you are like me, I am somebody who is a recovering type A human. I am a recovering chronic unhealthy overachiever where nothing is ever good enough and there's always something more to be doing. There's always something to improve upon. And if that is your life, this next tip has helped me, which is that I make a list every day of what I have to do. I love a checklist. I make a checklist digitally and on paper. Yes, I'm that person. I told you I'm in a work in progress. I told you I was a work in progress type A human. Anyways, I make a list. And if you're like me, that list will have 20, 25 things on it. And what I have gotten really good at now, I started with curating and eliminating one thing off the list. This was at the beginning. Now I cross out about 5 to 7 things off my list because I realize that I have a never-ending ability to just add to my plate, to bring overwhelm into my life. Like, it's the default setting, it seems to be. It's like jam too many things in a day that I know I can't get done or that I will force myself to get done and be absolutely exhausted. And so as I look out at my week and I have 200 things that need to get done in the week, I'm really conscious about saying, do I need to get these 5 to 7 things done today? No. And they go on tomorrow's list. And then tomorrow's list starts with those things that I left off. And I add probably another 15, 20 to that list and then cross it off, so on and so forth. So I'm really good about creating a to-do list that respects my capacity, not my ambition, because as we know, I am extremely ambitious, but ambition and capacity don't always work together. And as I've talked about before, so much of what I think Black women mistake for ambition, quote unquote, is really just conditioning that pushes us to betray ourselves, to engage in burnout, to do all the things that keep us in struggle. And we're opting out at Black Girl Burnout. And it starts with me and my own journey to opting out. So no more never ending lists. That's one thing I do to support my kind of structure in my day. The second thing is I've realized that what helps my nervous system is routine, even though my brain or my emotions sometimes crave something different or something new, and it's really hard for me to stick to habits. There are certain habits that I've just made the promise to myself that I have to keep, that I have to stay true to, or my day gets ruined. And one of them is really simple. I make my bed every day. I don't know how to explain why that is so comforting for me, but it really does set the day up for success. I feel accomplished. There's one area of my house that is automatically clean because the bed is made and I put my little decorative pillows. And oftentimes it gives me the space to also do things like skincare. I'll wear like my red light mask. That's very important to me, skincare. So I might do that while I'm making the bed. And the third thing I might do all at the same time is I'll make my bed, I'll put red light therapy on my face, but I also will listen to some kind of coaching. I use a fabulous app, not sponsored. It's an app I've been using for maybe 10 years. It gives you a very brief and manageable daily routine that you create, and it gives me daily coaching. So it teaches me to be grounded in gratitude or to reflect upon a new way of doing things. It's just a daily dose of inspiration that, coupled with me making my bed, makes me feel like I can face the day. I am not the best at it. I don't, put pressure on myself to make some kind of like hospital corners or whatever. I just make sure the bed looks good. Along with daily routines that regulate my nervous system, I've made a challenge to myself for the month of October to dress like an adult every day. I work from home, and often when I work from home, my attire is a hoodie, I kid you not, and some sweatpants. That's just who I am as a person. I love dressing up. I love looking good, but I am a person that's like, I don't need to look good to use my brain for this project, for this activity. I do a lot of strategic planning and a lot of work behind the scenes for my consultancy. And if I'm not client facing, my default is just to wear sweats. And so I've been trying to get better at dressing for the day. Even if that means easy two-piece sets, I'm obsessed with these two-piece sets on Amazon. They're supposed to be a dupe for free people, and I love them. They're just cozy sweater two-piece sets that take decision fatigue out the way. So I've been wearing those a lot. I've also just been dressing with real pants and a real sweater and a real top or something that I could wear out in public and not feel any shame about. Just because I work from home is what I'm teaching myself doesn't mean that I can't honor myself and the day with some real clothes, even if I think sweats might be easier. And I will tell you, it's had a positive effect on me. I do feel a lot better. I feel like, I wanna smile more. I don't know how else to explain it. I love being cozy and comfy in my sweats, but it is not always the best thing, and I wanna get in a habit for many reasons. One, I am trying to be a much better steward of the clothes that I have and actually wear them, and when you work from home, you tend to hoard clothes that you don't wear, and it's a good way for me to kinda know what's going on in my closet and what I need to get rid of and what I need to keep. Along the, like, nervous system regulation topic, the other thing I do is related to my bedtime and just my days as in general, is I don't watch any dysregulating shows after 7 PM. And I wanna be clear, dysregulating doesn't mean it's not good TV. Like, I love a thriller, I love an action flick, I love anything that's basically on HBO Max. I love good TV. I am a creative and I love consuming quality content. Unfortunately, a lot of that content involves like violence or someone gets kidnapped or you're sitting on the edge of your seat being like, "Oh my gosh, are they going to crack the case or not?" And I love that kind of stuff, but my body tells me that before bed, no. We're not doing it. And so I've gotten really good at watching those TV shows that are like prime time slots. I watch them the next day. I watch them during the day or I watch them once I finish my work day or at lunch break. I've learned that even good TV can mess up my nervous system. And so I protect my peace by protecting what I consume. And that has been huge for my sleep regulation. I didn't realize how much watching like a thriller or a drama before bed really dysregulated my ability to relax into a cozy and comforting rest. Just never occurred to me, and once I stopped doing that, once I started listening to my body a bit more and being like, "Ooh, I'm excited," or "I'm nervous," and all the best ways that art can make you feel, but that's not the feeling I want when I'm getting into bed, and I don't wanna be fighting what is already quite an exhaustive bedtime routine by undoing all of that and going and watching a thriller or reading a thriller book and then being up all night or not being able to rest. All right, what else? I also nourish my body and I do that via supplements. I'm really serious about supplements and I'm really serious about reading about science-backed supplements. Not every supplement has science behind it, and there are some supplements, to be honest, that can actually hurt you if you do not know your levels or what you need. So I always say this when I tell you about my supplement routine, I wanna tell you, get checked by a doctor, check your certain levels before you take supplements for them. At least be aware of what you need because that's the supplements that are gonna make a difference versus just loading yourself with stuff that sometimes might cause harm. I am like so many Black women, I'm anemic and I have vitamin D deficiency. Those tend to go hand in hand. So I take supplements for both. If you are anemic and or have low iron deficiency because the doctor told you did, don't forget Citarol XL is one of our sponsors. I've been taking that iron supplement. I really enjoy it. It really is pretty good and it doesn't have the negative side effects that a lot of people who have iron depletion tend to have when they take supplements. So I really love that. I take an iron supplement, I take a vitamin D supplement, I take a vitamin, daily multivitamin. The other supplement I take is creatine and collagen, but mostly just protein. I take protein supplement because I don't get enough protein in my day, and I take creatine, which is like the new supplement I'm kind of obsessed with right now because there's a lot of data around women as they get older, so 30s and beyond, that creatine really helps women with hormone regulation, with muscle building, with sleep regulation and hormone regulation, just really great stuff. So I make sure that I take care of my body by giving it the supplements it needs to be its best self. What else do I do? I think some other things that I've been doing as well is I curate the life that I want, and I'm really been intentional about this. What do I want my life to look like? And how do I get there? And you start by doing one small thing or several small things a day that bring you closer to the life that you are dreaming of. Let's be real. One of the biggest sources of burnout for Black women is money. Whether it's debt, divorce, home buying, investing, or just trying to make it to the next paycheck, financial stress is real and it's exhausting. But here's something that can help: the Savvy Ladies Helpline. It's free. Yes, really free. You get 55 minutes with a certified financial expert, no strings, no judgment, just real answers to your real money questions. Want to build wealth, prep for retirement, figure out how to invest, or navigate money after a breakup? They've got you. Savvy Ladies is on a mission to make financial education accessible to all women, and the helpline is a game changer. So if money is stealing your peace, I invite you to take one powerful step toward financial freedom. Visit savvyladies.org and book your free session today. You don't have to struggle alone. You can opt out of burnout and into clarity, confidence, and peace with your money. As someone who suffers with anemia, I know all too well how life-altering iron deficiency can be. Whether it's the overwhelming fatigue, the dry and brittle nails, the difficulty concentrating, it takes a toll. And then sometimes the supplements and treatments for iron deficiency have unpleasant side effects. That's why I'm excited about Citarol. Citarol from PharmaNutra is a premium iron supplement powered by sucrosomial technology. This helps your body absorb 3 to 4 times more iron while avoiding the common side effects of traditional iron supplements, the nausea and constipation. Citarol stands apart with 150 published clinical studies, unlike most supplement brands that have little to no clinical research. It's globally trusted and it's convenient. You can take it at any time, so there's no need to adjust your meals. It fits seamlessly into your day. It's 100% allergen-free, it's vegan, and gluten-free. So if you're nodding along and I'm describing the symptoms because you are exhausted and your brain feels like it's in a fog, this could be exactly what you need. Join over 2 million people who have already discovered Citarol and found the help they needed. Head to pharmanutra-us.com and use the code BGB for 10% off your first order of Citarol. That's pharmanutra-us.com. Promo code BGB for 10% off today. And I love this notion of romanticizing my life. It's all over social media and you see it. And I want a romantic life. And because of that drive and need to want a romantic life, I make decisions that support that. And they can be small and large ones. One thing I do is I curate my social media feed. I don't want a lot of negativity on my social media. I want to be educated, inspired, and entertained. That's how I view social media. I am very intentional about how I get my news and where I get it from. And there is time where I consume news content. So this isn't about being disconnected and unaware. It's just about not dysregulating myself by seeing the same headline 55,000 times. I also avoid whatever the hottest trend of the month that people are debating if it's going to dysregulate me. So I'm really conscious about, does it entertain? There are certain accounts that make me laugh that I love. Does it educate me? I'm always on the hunt for new tips and tools and ideas from anything from makeup, skincare, finances, investing, organization skills, corporate skill building. All of those things to me are really important. And so my social media feed reflects that. I want to be educated and I'm very specific about the things and the skills I'm working on that I want to be educated on. And then I want to be inspired. I follow a lot of women who are my age, Black women specifically, as well as just women in general who are older than me. I love watching the content of women in their 50s and 60s and 70s and late 40s. As much as I enjoy taking tools from people who are significantly younger than me because I don't know what I'm doing with my makeup and other things, I just love finding women who inspire me. And if I am feeling pretty down about the state of men in the world, I also have curated a list of men that I always go back to that don't disappoint me. Their content is usually inspirational or thoughtful. All of that is intentional. And that's the point. I want to be entertained. I want to be inspired. I want to be educated. And to do that, that requires a level of intention that I didn't always have. Social media can be really passive. And in fact, it is betting on you being passive, particularly with like a platform like TikTok, where I don't know half the time who I'm following. I'll see something that's funny or entertaining and I'll just be like, follow. And then all of a sudden I have 10,000 accounts I'm following. I cannot recall the name of any of those people. And sometimes their content's amazing, but it's also like it'll keep me scrolling for 50 hours if I have 10,000 people I'm following. Other times, I don't even know who I'm liking. And I just become disappointed when it's like, we're canceling this person this week. And so I have made a decision, which was very difficult, to go through my TikTok following and curate really thoughtful people that I want to follow and make sure I know their names, make sure I recognize them. There are so many people I was following that I didn't have a clue who they were. And that's not a knock to them. It was just like, I need to be intentional. And bringing that kind of an exercise to my TikTok, cleaning up my collections, things like that, really helped me be aware of what I'm consuming and put myself back in the driver's seat of my life so that I am not being overwhelmed by doom scrolling or just excessive scrolling, like addiction to being on social media. And that I'm actually getting the goals that I set out to get out of social media, that I'm actually being educated, that I'm actually being entertained, that I am actually being inspired. And I just feel like that has made a big difference when we are bombarded with so much stuff, so much information, that taking the time to curate your feed, it can be a pain, but it is so worth it. And it will have you feeling so much more in charge of your life. And that kind of curating your social media feed really is a part of a larger conversation that I'm also doing in my Get My Life Together Toolkit, which is curating my life. I have a tendency to be an overconsumer. I tend toward overconsumption, not underconsumption. There ain't a pretty bead, piece of jewelry, makeup, skincare. I just love stuff for stuff's sake. And it's very different. I want to be clear, like it's different than what people might call materialism or like this obsession to have things. It's not an obsession to have. It is this desire to create and curate a life that is beautiful. I love beautiful things. And I'm not apologizing for that. I'm really kind of proud that I can say that out loud without any guilt. But the unintended consequence of being someone who loves beautiful things and loves learning about beautiful things is you can tend toward overconsumption. When I get hyper focused and really looking at what's the best t-shirt or what's the best scent, I will go through 50 of those things to get to that answer. And I will have 49 things that don't make the cut. And I'm trying to be better about that. So my real goal is, as I close out this year and go into next year, is I want to become a luxury minimalist. Not a hardcore minimalist, but a luxury one where everything I buy has that intention, that I do not have 55 of the same things. I have 4 or 2 or 5 of something that means a lot to me and is extremely high quality. And that I do my research, again, through social media, through other channels, not by buying and regretting or figuring it out or collecting, but by really bringing that rigor that I put into the science that I've done in my life, into the strategic planning that I do, bringing that into how I curate my life, how I curate my closets, my jewelry, everything really. And so I'm working with an organizer and I am really paring things down. I am coming up with the ultimate makeup routine, and that's going to be it. That's my makeup. My ultimate skincare routine, which I've finally figured out. That's it. And I'm sticking with it. And so that is one of the things that's just really important to me, is that I don't want to consume just for the sake of consumption. And I don't want to consume for the sake of comfort. And oftentimes I find myself trending toward that. And so instead of doing that, I want to be intentional about the beauty and the romance I surround myself with. And realizing that it's not necessarily from stuff, it's going to be from experiences and conversations and just all kinds of magical moments that I'm having on the daily that aren't related to a piece of jewelry or a skincare routine. All right, what's left? I think the last couple of things that I would say is when it comes to curating romance and joy, I feel like those things are sensory experiences. And so I try to create routines or habits or collect things that touch all of my senses. So, what I see, what I hear, what I touch, what I smell, all of those things go into creating a romantic life. And I have rituals that pair with that, that are all rooted in sensory joy. My bath time is sacred. It's been sacred since my 20s. I've always been a bath person. I will never live in a place that doesn't have a bathtub. It's just that important to me. And I've curated my favorite bath oils that aren't overconsumption, just that match my personality and my needs, and my nervous system just gets so happy when it's in a tub with these oils and these soaps. So I have that. I have candles. I'm scent sensitive, so I buy from certain candle places that I really feel like don't give me a headache and make me feel good. I make sure I have teas and drinks that aren't overly sugary because I do love a sugary drink. I've battled on and off with an addiction to soda all my life and probably will always be battling that. But I really like something that's sweet and nourishing, and tea with rock sugar instead of processed white sugar makes me happy, especially when it's iced. Certain kinds of tonic water, if you get certain kinds, they're much lower sugar than regular tonic water and even like a regular soda, and they have different flavors. I curate a life that makes me feel good without having these unintended consequences of like allergies or feeling crappy because I have too much sugar in my body. I just really want to feel good in every way I can in a world that is harsh and in a world that is not catering toward gentleness or tenderness. And that is a priority for me. So, those are some of the practices that I do. And I wanted to take the time to say them all explicitly to you. There are a million other things I do, whether it's around productivity and calendar planning. I teach courses on authentic productivity. And if that's something y'all want to hear about, I can do an episode on that in the future. I can talk about specifically skincare routines and makeup routines as I'm learning, but skincare I definitely have unlocked. Different ways that scent moves you, different ways that I channel cleaning my house, organizing, how I'm becoming a luxury minimalist. Like, what does that look like? I'm happy to do that. But for now, I just wanted to do this episode because maybe there's something there that resonates with you. Maybe some of these practices, maybe something totally different. But what matters to me is that you have a list of things that help you return to yourself in a world that is increasingly making it hard to feel good and be good. The key to me loving others and showing up to the world full of love is by taking the time and making it a priority to love myself. And more importantly, I want to give you these tips because I want you to know that you don't have to overhaul your whole life to be able to get the goals you want accomplished, to create a body that feels good to live in, that it's really these small but radical adjustments and acts of self-care that create that life. And nothing I've suggested or nothing that I do is super expensive or is time consuming. It's all things that I think are realistic and kind to yourself. And when you're kind to yourself, you'll be kind to others. So that's it for the episode. Those are the things in my Get My Life Together toolkit. And if you have been struggling or looking for direction or just some place to start the conversation with somebody, with a friend, with me through socials. But curate that list, explicitly write it down, keep it near and dear to your heart, and allow yourself to be cared for as we close out the year and we softly lock in. All right, you know where to find this podcast. It's across all major platforms. Please share, please follow. Please take the time to write reviews. They have been coming in. We're getting closer to my goal of having 700 reviews on Apple, and we're dreaming big for Spotify. We want to go to 1,000 there. I know we can do it. It means the world. Every time, particularly on Apple, because it allows you to write narratives, every time you all leave a review, I cannot tell you how excited I get. I'm going to start reading the reviews I get in the beginning of podcasts. So next episode, I will be reading a review. I didn't come prepared for it now, but I will next week. I want you to hear what this podcast means to other people and know how humbled I am that I'm a part of that, and also honor the fact that you've taken the time to write a review. So if you haven't written a review, please, what are you waiting for? If you just drop the 5 stars, it makes a material difference in the podcast. It literally translates to dollars, and it's the one thing you can do for free. Also, if you feel inclined to, follow me across all the platforms, literally all the platforms, TikTok, Instagram, Substack's my new baby, YouTube. It's all at Black Girl Burnout. Very simple. And Substack is just a joy. We're 12,000 strong in less than a year. That is insane. Just sitting with that is insane. I love writing. I love Substack. It's an opportunity to go deeper on these themes and to get a different side of me and just to expand the Black Girl Burnout universe. YouTube is also there. Instagram will always be around. Join me on any of those platforms. I think that's all I got for y'all. So until next week, take care of yourself, take care of each other, rest well, and softly lock in.